Hi guys, thanks for joining me for an extra shave this week at Friendship Shaving. I've just put my usual Proraso white pre-shave on my face and I'll let that sit while I'm talking to you. The razor I'm going to be using is, I haven't quite decided yet, but this is the Mühle R106. If I change the handle, it'll be the Mühle R89. I'm going to be using in that a Personna Med-Prep razor blade. I've never used one of these, so I'm very keen to know what they're like. And I'm going to pop this straight in. There we are, that's what the package looks like. And on the back it says American Safety Razor Company, Verona, made in USA. And on the blade, I'll show you now, you can see that it says for hospital use. Well, let's put that on. Now, I was contacted in the week by a gentleman called Peter Hattendorf. Thank you, Peter, for getting in touch. Peter had a query, and I'm going to answer that query in my shave tonight. But Peter reminded me of a time when I made the switch from a cartridge razor over to a double-edged safety razor, and reminded me how overwhelming the choice of products was. And Peter asked if I had any recommendations for a razor that would be good for somebody starting to use a double-edged safety razor, and that is the reason why I've chosen the Mühle DE89. Now let me explain a little bit about the handles. Mühle have a rather odd naming convention in that they use the same head but different handles. So if they use the black acrylic handle, the razor becomes the R106, and they have a tortoiseshell handle, and that makes the razor the R108, but the heads are exactly the same. I do find that the acrylic handle, as it is slightly heavier, makes the R89 a more efficient razor for me, but nevertheless the Mühle R89 is a great razor, and I'm going to be using it tonight with the lighter hollow metal handle. Very nice razor indeed. I'm going to be using a little bit of Proraso white to go with the pre-shave. Look at that tube, that would last you a year surely. I like the Proraso product range. They are very reasonably priced and really not bad quality at all. I'm going to be using, I nearly forgot, I'm going to be using my deluxe synthetic brush, and I'll just dip that in some water. Just going to run a drop of water in a bowl. There we are, I'm about ready to go. So just going to use that much. So you can see how long this tube will last. It's really nice, quite mentholated, but I do like it. Now I've got my brush damp. I've shaken off the excess, and I'm just going to spread that bit of shaving cream around the brush there, and the little bit I've got on my finger I'll rub in. me, I'm going to get started just spreading this on my face. Do you know there are lots of razors that I could have mentioned that would be a good choice for somebody starting to use a double-edged safety razor, but I really like the Mühle R89. Of the others that I've used that I think are particularly suitable, I did like the Merkur, another German company, the Merkur 33C. I thought that was a lovely little razor when I had it. It was one of the first ones that I had. I bought mine second hand and I think it was £5 on eBay. So, you know, that is another good choice. Merkur also do the 34C, which is a very mild razor, or I found it to be so, but nevertheless, like the 33C, it has a very good name. If you're looking for a British company, of course, we have Edwin Jagger, who produced the DE89, and of course, as many of you will know, it was Edwin Jagger and a collaboration with Mühle that produced the head for both the DE89 and the R89 back in 1989. So there's a couple of choices there. That I think are very good, and oh, that's coming along, isn't it? I like the Mühle R89. I think it's a razor that not only is it very suitable if you're starting to use a safety razor for the first time, but I think it's a razor that you keep in your den. It's a fantastic razor, whether you're a beginning shaver or an expert shaver. An expert shaver, what's one of them? There we are. So I'm quite keen to try this razor blade. I've not used them before. I've got about 20. So yeah, let's see what it's like. Do you know, I've been really fortunate recently. I've had a lot of razors in the den that I've, you know, bought and also been loaned. So I've been very fortunate in that respect. But it means that I haven't used razors like this for a little while. So it's really nice to go back. I'll tell you what, these blades are good. They're smooth. Do you know, I had forgotten what a good razor this is. It's very intuitive to find the right angle, but if you're never sure, this is what I do. I always start, if I'm not sure, just with the handle horizontal, and then I bring the razor down until the blade makes good contact with my skin, and then away we go. Do you know, there's a reason this razor is so well liked, and it's because it's a good razor. Terrific. I have found with these that, you know, if you look on eBay, you know, this is my my experience, that they don't come up for resale very often. And I think that's obviously because they're such a good razor that people keep them. Do you know, I remember when I was first starting to use a DE razor that I asked a question on one of the forums. And do you know, everyone that answered had their own slightly different opinion. And I ended up not being any the wiser. So I can really understand how, if you're like me, you might find all the information a little bit confusing sometimes. But when I first started, my first brush was a little synthetic brush from the Body Shop. It was really inexpensive, and my first proper shaving soap or shaving cream was also from the Body Shop, the Maca Root shaving cream. And they lasted me quite a while, and that little brush was a synthetic brush, and it was, as I say, it was just cheap. But it was nevertheless a reasonable quality brush. And of course the brushes now are much better. So I would recommend, if you were thinking of getting into DE shaving, that a synthetic brush would be the way to go initially. I always remember thinking that I might buy a badger hair brush, and of course there was pure badger, black badger, finest badger, 2-band badger, 3-band badger, you know, the choice goes on, and I didn't know which one to get. but synthetic works great. And of course it'll work the same with just about every soap. And there's no need to pre-soak the brush, which is a bonus, and it dries very quickly because of course the nylon bristles don't absorb all the water, so if you give it a good shake and a dry on a towel, it's practically dry. Now then, against the grain. I'm really concentrated now on just letting the razor run over the surface of my skin. I haven't used this razor for ages, and what a good shave I'm having. Got a bit of wind noise tonight, excuse the wind moaning in the background. Now these Med-Preps, as you would expect, are very sharp. I wonder how they compare with a feather. But they're a nice smooth braid. Do you know, I've been watching Johan lately of Shaven Butcher, a Swedish gentleman. If you like a straight razor shaver, you might like to check out Shaven Butcher. Oh, that's not a bad shave at all. Just looking in the big mirror over there. So I'm going to use my Allen block. This is really useful. It is the minerals in it help your skin to heal, and it helps with any nicks or little abrasions that you might have. and it stings a bit if you get a bit close, you know. If you get a bit of razor burn, it can sting a bit when you apply the alum. But I've not really got anything much tonight. Ooh. The place I tend to get a little stingy is just sort of down here on my saw bit, and perhaps these areas. And again, they're just my awkward spots. Just that's where it seems to get me. So yeah, I'll just let that sit for a moment. And tonight, actually, for my aftershave, I'm going to use some Maca Root Razor Relief. I found a tube. I found a tube in a drawer under the bed. So I thought it would be a good chance to use it and remind myself of times past. Now, what I like to do, as you know, is that if I'm using a nicely scented soap, I like to use an aftershave that is very mild, so I can still get the scent of the soap coming through, and this is certainly one of those. Now, the Personna White I've used tonight doesn't really smell of much. But that's what I normally do. Now there we are, I've got that much on my palm. It's a little more solid, a cream, compared to something like the Nivea Men. It feels slightly greasy. I must admit, it doesn't smell as nice as my Nivea. But it feels very nice putting it on, and my fingers no longer feel greasy now. It's kind of, just absorbing that. I'll put some on my forehead. Do you know, it's a wonder I've got any of a haircut at all. I used some clippers to cut my own hair. I was halfway through and they packed up, and I had to take them apart 3 times, and in the end I barely got them working and just managed to finish off my haircut. So I'm in the market for some new clippers. There we are, that's my shave, and I'd just like to say thank you to Peter for the query that he made. And yes, my recommendation for somebody starting their adventure in the world of double-edged shaving is the Mühle R89. I think that's a fabulous razor, and I've had a great shave tonight. You take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time around. All the very best now. Bye bye.